Good evening, America. I am Eric Little. It is the 11th day of January 2020. It is day 1453 of the Trump administration, leaving just 9 days left and 10 days left in this show. It has been 69 days since the election and 65 days since the election of Joe Biden, since the election was called for Joe Biden. It is National Human Traffic Awareness Day. So if you see something, say something. I'm near my home in Southern California this evening, and this is the plain truth. So, what to do? What to do about these insurrectionists? I think Mike Pence has seen the light a little bit. He's still thinking about his political future rather than the country, but he has not taken the 25th Amendment off the table. A lot of people want them to impeach Trump. I'm one of them. The only problem is the timeline with 9 days left. Even the 25th Amendment has problems because, he has a chance to respond in writing, and then the House of Representatives have 21 days in which that they have to hold a vote, and then you have to have the Senate vote, and there's a lot to it. With 9 days left, it's going to be pretty tough. I think they should still go through with the impeachment, and Nancy Pelosi has drafted the article of impeachment, and they're supposedly going to vote on it Wednesday. The Senate, Mitch McConnell is being Mitch McConnell, and this is why we needed to win those Senate races in Georgia to get that gavel out of his hands. As soon as Warnock and Ossoff are sworn in, then the Democrats will have a majority. So people say, why impeach with 7 days left when the trial couldn't happen until after he's out of office? Well, because impeachment means, if you have a trial and you're convicted, then they bring up a separate article that only needs a majority that says he can never run for office again. I think the point at this stage is to make sure that he never ever does this again. That he never runs for office again. Even before this, I said, because he's broken so many presidential norms, we need to put teeth in these things to make sure this didn't happen again. I don't blame the founding fathers because these are all presidential norms and they've been respected for 244 years. They never could have imagined that the threat would be coming from the White House itself. But these things need to be strengthened. Now, he needs to be held accountable for this, but he needs to be held accountable in criminal court. Now, as far as everything else is concerned, I think that Twitter and Facebook have done the right thing in banning him from their platform. And the same thing with Parler and all these other ridiculous sites that promoted this violence and all this other stuff that went on. I think the networks need to follow suit. I think ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, I think they all need to follow suit. I think that starting at 12 o'clock and 1 second on the 20th, they need to not cover him anymore, ever, for anything. He's an attention whore, so he's going to do anything he can to stay in the spotlight. He might divorce Melania, who knows? It doesn't matter. They should not cover him, no matter what he does, except as a criminal defendant. Do not cover him. Joe Biden, when you do your press conferences and stuff, do not mention him. If any reporter brings him up, just say, excuse me, next question, and just don't acknowledge his existence. We have to starve this beast of any oxygen, is what we need to do. And if the Republicans were smart, they would help, because those who think they're going to run for president in 2024, you don't want him with these giant platforms. You want him as silent and as removed and isolated as possible. But that's what I think the networks ought to do. Except as a criminal defendant, do not cover anything he says, do not cover anything he does. Let's, as a nation, just try to pretend this never happened. That's the only way that we're going to be able to move forward. Now, I know that it's just tough on Biden because he's called for national unity. But it can't be unity without accountability. So I think what's going to have to happen is, and I know that people say, well, it's going to distract from his agenda. I think we're going to have to learn to walk and chew gum. I think you're going to have hearings in the morning and confirmations in the afternoon, and work 12, 15 hours a day if you have to get what you need to get done. We need another stimulus check. We need to work on that. We need to do all these things all at once. This is why you get paid the big money. I think we ought to be able to do all these things all at the same time. It's not like, well, if we're going to work on this, then we can't work on. No, we need to do all of it. We can have hearings from 9 to 12, take a lunch from 12 to 1, and work on his agenda from 1 to 5. There's no reason we can't do all of it. So I think, and I feel sorry for him coming into this mess with the pandemic and our standing around the world and all this foolishness. He knew he was going to have to clean up a mess. You knew the job was dangerous when you took it. But I think it has to be an all of government approach. I think he needs to not run again. I think anybody who enabled him, I think Hawley and I think Cruz ought to be expelled from the Senate. I think Louis Gohmert and these guys that still wanted to go forward with this after their insurrection, when they met after it, they need to be expelled from Congress. I think that one nut from Colorado, I can't think of her name right now, she needs to be expelled because I think she told them where these offices were. There needs to be a full investigation, and anybody that helped this insurrection in any way, including these cops taking selfies with them, the cops that opened the door, they need to be fired and they need to be charged. I think there needs to be lots and lots of crime. I think Merrick Garland is going to be the busiest man in America. As head of the Justice Department now, they need to start criminal prosecutions all around the board. Rudy Giuliani needs to be prosecuted. Eric needs to be prosecuted. Don Jr. needs to be prosecuted. Father needs to be, just about everybody in that administration needs to be prosecuted. Insurrections and treason is something we just cannot have if you want to continue to have a republic. And that is the plain truth, as I see it. And I am Eric Little. Good night.